No, it'd be funny if she like edited this part back in.
Yeah.
And people see me like nervous because I messed up. No, I messed up. Welcome back to Lessons from the Intern. Grab your drink, grab your snacks, grab whatever refreshment you want. I'm your host with the most, Mr. Carl DeBose. This is your co-host close to home, Mr. Kendrix Holcomb. And listen, this episode is sponsored by Stain Doctor Detailing. Thank you. More about that later. Societal views. I need to like understand why we as generations view things differently. Like,
that's going down a rabbit hole right there.
I'm telling you, it's like Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole too. It's like it's divided. It's crazy.
Y'all trying to go on this deep dive with us? Let's get it. So where we want to start with that?
Man, that was you. That was you, my boy.
Ooh, there's a lot of places to go from.
You're philosophical, so you got this.
Let's take a look at like overall the difference between generations as a overall, and then we can nitpick into different points.
You said nitpick, pick, and nit. Okay.
On me, yeah.
Okay.
So like the difference between us and the older generation, and then the ones younger than us. What's some of the things that you've seen that like we differ in?
Bro, they swear we don't want to work. They swear we do not want to work at all.
Okay.
Like, I remember my dad, he's a part of generation after the baby boomers. And, love you, Dad. And he, I talked about it, I think, in episode, like, 2 or whatever. Yeah. But he was like, the whole 4-day work week, like, that's just so lazy of your generation. But again, it's not, I don't feel like it's lazy of us. Like, I really feel like it benefits everybody in the long run because it goes from a 40-hour work week to a 32-hour work week, and then you're forced overtime. But because the corporations are ran by older people,
yeah,
I don't think they're gonna get behind that.
Yeah, no, most definitely not. Dude, the corporations not only, but like the world is run by older people.
Oh, swear.
So like things changing is not gonna happen, and I'm gonna save some of my points because I want to have like a conspiracy episode. We gotta have one of those where we talk like deep dive into conspiracy theories. That one, I love that one.
I'm ready.
But a lot of the stuff that you see, how the older generation is quote unquote trying to adapt to new practices and stuff like that. Right. There's a lot more behind it than them just trying to get with the times, because the older generation is not about getting with the times. Love the old people, love older people to death. I don't want to say old people, love y'all. But half the time they're stuck in their ways. They don't want to. Sometimes they get the idea that they're almost out of this world. They've done their due diligence. They don't have really too much to worry about else. They've lived their life to the point that they feel like they're okay with it, and they don't have to worry about what's coming up or how what they've done has affected the world. And that's something that I know us as a generation has looked at. Generations younger than us continue to look at. Environmentalists, PETA, the animal activists, they look at how us and like the older corporations, how much of a toll that they've had on the world. And how it's what's the thing people talk about? Global warming. That's something that people talk about all the time.
Yes.
I read somewhere an article. I forgot. It was either by the year 2030 or 2050. I think it was 2050. Something with the animals, like half the animals species would be extinct. Like,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense, especially like the Arctic animals, because with all the polar ice caps melting, the rainforest has been a problem. Like, and the older generation knew that. That's the crazy part to me. What's even more wild about like how the older generation is kind of just leaving us with things. Like, you think about the debt that we like us as 20-year-olds have to take care of, because there's just like, forget paying back China or whoever, right? Yeah. And then, oh man, not to get political, but let me tell you, it's so weird that the same people that we swear need to like retake their driver's license test are the same people, like it's the same age range for people who run our country.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, it is. Dude, I don't want to talk about politics. I hate politics, but like, just people be nitpicking on Joe Biden because he's so old and in office.
Oh my man.
Him being older and being in office, like, you see his mental health is declining.
Oh, 100%.
And like, that's just something that comes with age, depending on how you've lived your life. Like, when we talk about the health conscious episode where we talk about different foods and different diets, like that stuff wears down on you. Fluoride in the toothpaste, stuff like that. That stuff takes a toll on you slowly but surely. It's something that wears down on you. It leading to cases caused of dementia, Alzheimer's, and things like that. Like that's the type of stuff you got to look forward to in old age if you're not taking care of your body. But the older generations, like they just really didn't care about it. So
yeah, I mean I agree with you, and that's really wild. And so like I think to myself, like when I have kids, am I going to effectively be able to say, okay, well I left this world better than it was for you? Because like my kids, if they're anything like me, they're screwed. If the world is worse, they are screwed. I'm not like the most aware of certain things. Yeah. Like I'm fairly aware of my surroundings, you know. And now that my life is in the position that it's in, I have to be aware of other people's surroundings. Like I do. What I will say is beneficial about the older generation is that they have taught us some tricks that we got to keep. Yeah. Like so, my dad, he was a military veteran, and he always sits with his like facing the doors. Always, like he has to have a point of exit. Mm-hmm. Well, whenever I got my pew carry, right, my concealed pew, he basically taught me to always be aware of like everything around me. Yeah. So like people will oftentimes feel like I'm oblivious, but I'm not. Yeah. Like I'll give you that you know whatever, but I promise you like I'm thinking like of a bunch of different scenarios, and that's because his generation had to like watch, especially being black and in his 50s now. Yeah, you have to be aware of a lot of things, or you had to. I mean, still yes. Like anytime I get, again, not to get political, but anytime I get pulled over, I have to be aware of certain things. You know, anytime that I'm like going anywhere, I have to be aware of, okay, what am I wearing? How is this person perceiving me? Yeah. Is this person pulling out their phone to call on me, or like, and that's one of those things that I hope never really. I mean, like I hope the reason behind it dies, but realistically, it's never gonna die. It's not okay, but it is okay, right? I realistically hope that everybody does continue to be like aware of what's going on, and not even like in the literal sense as far as, or I'm sorry, the physical sense as far as like being aware of what's around you. Be aware of like what's changing in the world, because like technology is changing faster than we're aging, way faster than we're aging. Like it is insane how fast. Like I was looking on YouTube the other day. Mind you, I just got my 14 Pro Max like. Well, I guess it's about a year ago now. Yeah. But around that time. But like the moment, like right after I got my 14 Pro Max, I remember seeing like leaked concepts for the 15 Pro Max. Yeah. I was like, what?
No, dude, cause a lot of the time they have that stuff like put on the back burner or something like that. Like, 100%. They have this stuff like set, and like you said, it's crazy to think about like how fast we're producing this stuff. Oh, like AI.
Oh my gosh.
AI. That's something that's big to talk about. The way that it's transpired over these past just couple of years.
Oh my god.
Bro, let's not get on ChatGPT. Everybody's personal assistant, bro.
Oh my gosh, bro. ChatGPT is like the biggest cheat code. And when it comes to generations, I think that's where the older generation kind of saved themselves just a little bit. Yeah. Because like you don't understand it. And like you look at Samsungs and iPhones and all that. Well, when you really break it down, I think that AI is not designed for older people. I think that Samsung is not inherently designed for older people. Okay. Because I remember when I was at the bank, like I would have to consistently like try to tell people like how to work their Samsung phone. I have an iPhone. Yeah. I'm an Apple boy. Like till the day I die, I'm an Apple boy. So when I see people with iPhones, I'm like, dang, like you know that it's gonna be easier, especially the older generation. You got this because it's gonna be easier. No matter how much more expensive it is, Apple's interface is so simple because they keep up with the fact that, okay, well, older people are going to use us and, I mean, they're going to struggle, so let's make everything right there, make everything simple. They recognize that younger people are going to use us, so let's make everything customizable. Well, as customizable as it can be. Yeah. Granted, it's not as customizable as it should be like Samsung's is, but even still, like Apple is the leading, in America, Apple is a leading cellular phone company. Yeah. Simply because they made it simple for all generations. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I see. Okay. So yeah, they did hit that versatile point. I have been on every type of phone, from a youngin, from the flip phone, the Sidekick, to the Samsung and BlackBerry. my brother had a sidekick, and I was on it more than he was.
Bro, those sidekicks are cool. My fault.
Sidekicks were right, but neither here nor there. So like when my first actual big boy phone was a Samsung, and I learned how to use a Samsung, and I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it a lot.
Did you?
Yes, I love the Samsung. Then I got my iPhone, and I got into the world of the argument of Samsung versus iPhone.
Yeah.
Broke boys versus slightly richer boys and stuff like that. I don't think anything's wrong with Samsung, but like, because I found out that Apple uses some of their technology in the development of their products as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So like, finding that out, like they bounce stuff off of each other, and it's just a world where they're interconnected, intertwined, and behind the scenes, it's kind of like they're just playing the masses.
Oh yeah, yeah. Apple's smart. Apple, I think what they really bank off of, like in all truth and honesty, Apple just makes sure that you like if you buy an Apple product, you have a status symbol. You do, like 1,012%. You have a status symbol through and through, because you see people with like Apple watches. Like you think, yeah, like the Ultra, like the Ultra. You see people with the Apple Watch Ultra, and you're like, dang, he's rich. People have told me that. They see my watch, they see my phone, they see my iPad, they see my MacBook. They're like, oh, he's just got money. I don't have money. I have money. I'm sitting on a couch with no legs. I don't have money, right? I don't.
The Apple products get up there though. That's why.
I'm saying,
and it's also that status symbol thing.
And that's true. It's almost like drive whatever car you drive, like gives you like this appearance of whatever. But people don't realize that, like, when you break it down, right? Like, they don't realize when you break it down, like, if I saw somebody with, like, say a charger, right? Yeah. And it's dirty, inherently, society's taught me that person with the dirty charger probably just doesn't have money to, like, actually maintain that charger relative to the person with the clean charger. Oh yeah, he's definitely got money.
Yeah.
But people don't know. It's kind of like when you called me the other day about your car right before your date.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, bro. Need help. I really hope doing that shit. Pick up, bro. Come on. Taking too long. It's been more than 2 seconds. Come on. Get on my nerves. Why pick it up, bro?
Oh, Kendrix call. Bro, what's up?
Bro, I need your help, bro. I really need your help.
Talk to me.
Shorty rolling through tonight, but my car looking kind of busted and dusted. What? Give me something. I need somewhere I can go, bro.
Bro, you didn't just call Stain Doctor Detail?
For real?
Yeah, just call him. He'll get you right for the low, but it'll be good quality.
For real? Bro, how can I reach out to him though?
Bro, if you just hit him up on Facebook or you Google him and find his number, man will get back to you lickety split.
Not the lickety split. Alright, bro. Hey, nah. He like that for real though. He like that for real?
He's like that. He like that. For the low, too.
For the low. Alright, bro. I'm gonna reach out to him, bro. See, that's why I appreciate you. You my dog for real, bro.
I got you.
Man, peace and blessings, my bro. Appreciate that, bro.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that was like, honestly, I'm really glad you even went to go get your car done, because now, like, that status symbol for you, up there, right? And I know that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but like, I know you got that girl in the end.
Hey, we're not gonna talk about it.
I know you got it. I know, but nevertheless, I mean, things like that as well, like owning businesses and whatnot. People also have this assumption that like you are doing super well for yourself. Yeah. I know people who own businesses that are doing really well for themselves. I know people who own businesses that
are struggling a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I feel for the strugglers as much as I like root for the ones that are like winning. But well, depending on what your business is, if you're selling illegal stuff, then I'm not rooting for you. Yeah. But nevertheless, I mean,
going back to that status symbol thing and appearance, like break that down amongst generations, like.
Bro,
generational appearances and how the older generation looks at us and how we look at the younger generation. Because let's just talk about attire, dressed out in the public and things like that. You know, the older generation was really cutthroat. Couldn't get that out. Real nice, nifty. You know, clean threads. No showing anything. No tattoos. No piercings. None of this stuff. You know, real clean look. Yes. Our generation, we sort of dipped our toe in the water, say, and got more experimental with it. If you were one of those people that did the tattoos and anything like that back in the day, you were seen as like wild, reckless,
100%.
Devilish, heinous, something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And like it's only becoming more acceptable with the newer generations coming up. Like us, we were more accepting to tattoos and things like that. I have a tattoo myself. I got piercings, tattoos, and then as we grow older, the younger generations are just building off of that. Like some of the college students that I've seen coming in, they've gone crazy. Like I'm not gonna lie, they've gotten the body modifications. Some of the people in our generation have gotten the crazy body modifications, and they, sort of like set that foot for others to follow through, and it's taking off. Like people are becoming more open to it. Older generations, they're not the biggest fan of it. I know a big place that's kind of looked down upon is a church.
Oh yeah.
Like a religious building, religious settings, things like that. But that's just based off of culture. So like, but something that we're very familiar with, the black culture. Mm-hmm. How would your folks feel if you came to church, back in the day, arm full of tattoos, you put up with shorts, a tank top, flip flops?
So how I show up to church? Low-key. No, my parents, they like, I actually called my dad out for this. But like, I remember my dad was real adamant, like, don't sag. Yeah. Like, always wear a belt. Like, all these different things. But then whenever we went to go pick up my niece and nephew, we met up with them. That man was sagging like he was like in the cribs. Like, it was crazy. And I thought to myself, how the times have changed. Because before, he'd have been like, okay, dress nice for church. Like, make sure you have your khakis on, some nice shoes, like a polo or a button, whatever. Yeah. And he was the same way. Like, even when we went to, we had switched to a church where it was like come as you are kind of style. I came as I was. Let me tell you, I showed up comfy. But he would still show up at least with like some jeans, some like regular shoes, and then a polo or a button. Yeah. And I would think to myself, okay, like, that makes sense. Because he is older. My mom was the anomaly. I'll admit. Like, she would still show up looking nice, but she's gonna show them arm tattoos. She sat in the chair for hours. She gonna show them arm tattoos. She is going to show them. And like, one thing my dad did tell me before I ever got my first big boy job. Yeah. He was like, so my first tattoo is
your sister's protector.
My sister's protector. And my dad, he gives me crap about this to this day because I don't hide any of my other tattoos except for chest ones, right? Yeah. He was like, make sure you can get it in a place where you can hide it.
Yeah. My dad was big on that too.
Big thing. Yeah. And that's so weird because now, like, we're borderline able to dye our hair, whatever. I asked my boss, like, when I was like growing out my hair. Fun fact, we should like have Sophie edit a picture of that into this.
You with dyed hair?
With the twist. Oh. Yeah. But when I was growing out twist, I asked my boss, I was like, would you be cool if I like dyed my hair purple? Because, I wanted to do that. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, that'd be fine. You can't go to business meetings with me, but yeah, that's fine. I was like, dang. So then, like, I think what really changed the game, so when you look back at, like, even like, not super older generations, but even the generation before ours, yeah, the people that had dyed hair and tattoos and, like, piercings and all that were typically, like, rock stars or, like, heavy metal people.
Going back to that Outcast scene, yeah.
Yeah. But then you look now, Uzi's hair is, like, all over the place. Wayne dyed his hair blonde. Yeah. Not Cardi. Yachty's hair was red for the longest time. And Trippy, right? Yeah, yeah. So now, like, you have all these influences that are like, well, we're going to express ourselves. As to where you look back in the 99s and the 2000s, Wayne's hair was regular. Yeah. Locked up, looking real nice. Now the man, Lord forgive me, but his hair is looking a little bit rough. It is. And Lord forgive me, I think there's some other things going on there, but still, that's a testament to how, like, times have changed, even with some of the older generation. Not all of it, but some of it. Times have definitely changed.
I think that goes back to the people trying to push the agenda of, with the generation coming up, it was a thing that they were more open to things happening, more open to people, quote unquote, being themselves and who they are. So when it came to these influencers and them doing these things, that's a big thing that they were pushing. It got to the point to where they had status, they had symbol, and they were like, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. Like, I'm making money. Get off of me.
Oh,
And people saw that and they were like, if they can do that, why can't I do it?
Right.
So that's where the nail painting came from. That's where the dye. I had my hair was red. My hair was blonde for a period of time. I went through it too. But, yeah, and like the rock stars were the ones who did it back in the day, and they were the ones who were mentally ill, not right. The ones you wouldn't allow near your children and things like that.
100%. And that's so odd to look back at now, because like Michelle, shout out Michelle, episode 2. Michelle was like, she opened my eyes really, because I didn't realize that females would dye their hair like when they're going through something emotionally. That was a mind-boggling thing to me.
Yeah.
But before, like in the older generations, you were supposed to be a kept woman, so you were supposed to be like a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, so I never saw my mom dye her. Well, I think in the black community it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
when it comes to dyeing
yeah.
hair. But I never saw my mom dye her hair a crazy color, like even if she was going through like the toughest times. So like when my grandma died, she kept it pushing. Like she was still, and I think that's another thing as far as like the views go that we can touch on like towards the end. But like mentally, I feel like they are almost seeing themselves as tougher than us, and I disagree with that. I just don't think that they coped with it as well as we do.
Yeah, that's another big thing to hit on is quote unquote the toughness. Back in the episode 2, the relationship episode, I remember I had said I got an older soul. I was one of those people that kind of just get up, shake it off, and walk it off.
Yeah.
Because like, we weren't as kids. We weren't really taught to talk about our feelings, talk it out, things like that. And when I got older, my dad tried to sit me down and be like, hey man, if you're going through anything, let me know. I'm here for you. I'm your father. Like you can talk to me, things like that. And it was just one of those things like I was programmed from so young to that point that I was just like, it's all right. I can just as long as I'm not dead, as long as I still have a breath in my body and I can walk, get up, dust off, and I'm moving on.
See, it's interesting she even say that because like since my dad was in the military, he was deployed a lot.
Yeah.
And so like I was around my mom. And like again, my mom was tough soldier, right? Both of my parents are tough. Both of my parents are wonderful, right? My mom was not as my dad wasn't super big into showing emotions up until I got to a certain age. My mom was like express your emotions but like keep them in check kind of thing. I'm a highly emotional person. Both me and my sister are highly emotional. My sister, because she was the first child, I think with that generation, having the first child, it was like the let's figure it out child. And I think that goes with really any generation.
Yeah.
But that generation in particular, because you grew up with like, this was pre 9/11, this was pre TSA, this was pre a lot of stuff, right? Even though she was only, it would have been a 7-year gap, right, before 9/11 happened for my sister, like still, like, it's pre all that. So my parents are trying to figure it out. They're trying to learn, like understand. Okay, cool. But then the stark contrast between her and I is like you look at our relationships, right? And she is allowed to be more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because you're taught now, and really back then, but you're taught now a woman's allowed to be emotional, right? My dad allows me to be emotional. Both parents allow me to be emotional. But what's interesting is that as a male, everybody else tells you not to be.
Yep.
So like in my current relationship, I'm the opposite of my sister, right? And I struggle to tell my girlfriend that I'm going through something. Like I remember maybe last week, I was having a tough time. Like I hit a weird just low in a depressive episode, and she was like, "No, like talk to me about it." And I was like, "No, it's okay. Like we can glaze up." She's like, "No, talk to me about it. You're okay. This is what you're supposed to do."
Yeah.
The older generation, even a generation before us, wasn't taught that.
Sure would.
Was not taught that. And like my brother-in-law, he can express emotion, but he typically won't express it in front of other people. That's something I struggle with, is that like behind closed doors, I'm a different person with her. She's like, "Oh, you really are an introvert." Yeah, like 100% through and through. This generation, I think, and really the next, is really breaking that curse though.
It is
100%.
Yeah. And see, like when it comes to like being able to express those emotions, breaking those norms that older people, not even really older people, but people that have been taught that hard-headed mindset, it's all about finding someone like that could help you break those barriers.
Oh yeah.
Like, not getting too deep or anything like that, but sometimes you have I don't want to call them fake outs, but essentially that's what they feel like. Somebody you think, you know, you're there. All right, I trust in you, so I'll tell you what's going on in my life. And then all of a sudden things go awry. You're not with that person anymore. And I don't want to sound, you know, I'll just say, some certain people will take what you give them in confidence and use and store that rather than actually taking in what they're hearing and trying to help you with it.
Amen.
And when I figured that out, I think that like set a point for me to like not be as open as I want to be and be more the sit back and just observe type.
Yeah.
Because I was having an argument with this young lady, and I told her, you know, I was like, man, bro, like I'm going through it. Like I was really struggling.
Yeah.
And then about a month later, we were arguing about something. She had got really upset. And I was like, calm down. It's not that serious. She was like, oh, really? If it was you, you'd be doing this. And, like, brought back up that trauma that I talked about. And when I just sat there and I looked at it, I had a realization that moment in the car. I was like, cool. That's fun. Never telling you anything again.
Oh, yeah.
And you just ruined it for people in the future.
Yeah.
So, like, kudos to you, you know. Congratulations, you found that person. That helps you. You know, it's all about getting there, though. So, you know, I'm slowly working on it. Am I going to therapy? Nah, I'm cool on that.
No, even that part's like interesting though, because like I feel like again, as a man, the older generation has taught us like even if your woman is trying to like get that out of you, like don't express it.
Yeah.
And so like my roommate, he'll ask me, or he'll be like, man, I need to find me a blank, and I'm like, well, she found me. Like, and I don't say that in an arrogant way. Like, it was weird because she would always come back in my life, like, when I needed her. We'll save, like, that whole story for the Valentine's Day episode. Because that story is, like, it'll bring me to tears
that's a smooth story.
But, low-key, we should, like, again, have significant others on here for, like, we gonna get you one.
Nah, it's okay. I'm good right now.
Because you bagged that girl from the date.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, most definitely.
But, like... That was a really hard lesson to like to teach and unteach myself. Was like, okay, I can share this like you said, I can share this with you and I can trust you because, you know, yes, people have done that to me. Like my ex did, like I'll never forget when I cried because I felt this feeling of inadequacy. And I cried to her. And she mocked me.
Right there?
Right to me.
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, dang. And no, like, hate to her, no disrespect to her. Because there was, like, a lot of buildup between us that, like, was just leading to toxicity, right?
Yeah.
So, like, okay, cool, right? Like, you take it, you run with it. I got over it, right? But I never forgot it. Because to me, I always told myself, this is going to shape a lot of who I am now as far as whomever I date. Mm-hmm. This girl, the girl that I'm dating now, she was like, "No, you're good. Like, deal with your trauma, and we will talk about it. We will figure it out together." Yeah, that's powerful.
That is. That really is.
So, like, when you say, you know, like, congrats for finding something, like, I feel like I gotta congratulate her for like being able to like do something no one else could, and like make me sit down, shut up, and listen, and talk.
And see, dude, back to another idea that we should have like a spiritual episode.
Oh my god!
Because you remember one lesson that we went over when we went to church was the idea of you not necessarily looking for anybody, but those people being placed at your life at that specific time. Me personally, I don't believe in coincidences. Yeah. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in divine timing, and I believe things happen for a reason.
Oh yeah.
So like certain people that I'm close with now, that I talk to now, I believe that they were placed in my life at a moment that I really needed them. Even if I couldn't see it, even if I didn't know it, even if I thought I was on top of the world, they were placed in my life to show me something else, give me another insight, or break down things to me, be an inspiration in my life. And that's something that I love. I love the thought of divine timing.
No, that's very true. That's another thing that I think the older generation really doesn't like to look into is like, are people here for a specific purpose in your life, or is it just a revolving door? Yeah. Like, and so I've met a lot of older people that are like, well, I'll see you when... My dad was, I'll see you when I see you, and, like, he would get upset with people. And, like, I used to be that way because, like, I'm watching my dad, and I'm thinking, oh, that's how you're supposed to be. again, this generation is starting to break like those curses. So like for me, it's like, well, dang, like I don't have to be this way. Like I can forgive. I don't necessarily have to forget. And if we don't make up, then we don't make up. Then at that point, yeah, I'll see you when I see you. But did I do everything in my power to like right my wrongs? If I hadn't, if I didn't do it, did I do everything in my power to understand their wrongs?
Yeah.
That older generation, whether it be Gen millennials, whether it be the coffee drinking hipsters, whether it be the people right after the baby boomers, these generations, they don't see it that way. It's always like, oh, well, I mean, you did me wrong, so whatever. Like, that's so powerful how just emotionally aware and intelligent that we are as a generation relative to them. So going back to that whole, oh, this generation's soft. No, this generation just understands.
I would say, us as a generation versus the older ones is we've put more forth an effort of breaking down things of why it's happening, why do I feel this way, and in every aspect. So like back to that, holding grudges, like a lot of times you were taught, especially like in urban communities, hood communities, quote unquote, if you want to say, the big thing that those quote unquote individuals are big on is respect. If you disrespect me once, that's it. Like, it's over for you and the rest of your crew. Like that's it. And the generation that we're in, we're more forth, like the ones that have been able to break out of that life, that little lens, that glass that they've been under so long, is they developed the way to understand of, all right, no matter what, even if you disrespect me in a certain way, okay, once I get past the fact of, oh, you damaged my pride or my ego, just a tinge, there's nothing gonna happen at the end of the day. I can walk away from that, feel better about something 10 minutes later and forget about that interaction that we had where you disrespected me, where you bumped shoulders with me. Just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean like you gotta drag me down with you.
100%.
See, that's why learning to forgive and forget, or forgive but not forget, is powerful. Once you forgive somebody, so much more clarity within your life. It's like it's a burden off your shoulders. It's a weight that's released. And it's not, like I said, you're not necessarily forgiving somebody for them, but it's all, at the end of the day, it's for you, because once you forgive, it does so much for you. Like, you just live and let go.
That's true. It's literally like that. I love that Rod Wave song, Weight on My Shoulder. I forgot how it goes. But nevertheless, it's getting colder. Baby, it's all the weight on my shoulder. Like, that's what I think about, like, when it comes to forgiving people. It's like, well, I was walking around with all this weight on my shoulder, so like the world feels cold. It feels dead to me. Yeah. But like, once I let that go, it was like, well, dang, like, I'm able to radiate. I'm able to find the girl that I like need to be around. I'm able to be a part of this and work with a great team. I'm able to find a great job, find a great vehicle. Like, I've been so blessed once I learned how to just forgive, and that's a hard thing for me. You ask any one of my family members, let me tell you, I would hold a grudge like it was a baseball bat and I'm going for a home run. Like, I was holding grudges back. I remember my sister ate my taco. My oldest sister ate my taco when I was like 6. I did not let that go until I was 13. I did not let it go. I was bad.
13?
Yeah, because she brought me tacos for the last day of school at my elementary school. She was like, "Oh, good. Well, here you go. Like, I'm sorry." Like,
7 years is crazy, man.
I held that grudge.
7 years is ridiculous.
I held it like it was the backpack from Dora. I held it. I'm telling you. And like, I recognize that when it comes to her and I think there's been a lot of forgiveness on both sides, because she was a different person. I needed to mature, right? I think that there's still forgiveness that needs to be given. Yeah. And once we reach that 100%, okay, I forgive you for what you did, you can forgive me for what I did kind of thing, I think we're golden. I think our relationship would thrive.
Yeah.
But
these.
Forgiveness is key. Acceptance is hard.
Yeah.
So looking at the older generation, right, they didn't accept like things like homosexuality. They didn't accept us being in certain places. They didn't accept, like, there's so much that now this generation is so tolerant and so, and granted, we still got to work on it. Like, it's not perfect. But this generation, when people that look like you and I were dying, this generation came together in all different communities and marched. in June, it is a whole month dedicated to making sure that the people in the LGBTQ, whatever, LGBT plus community, like it's beautiful because they're making sure that they are represented and heard, right?
Yeah.
Like it's so powerful how this generation, even a few bad apples in this generation, doesn't spoil the whole bunch. That's crazy to me because you go back even 30 years. No, we're in 2020. 40 years. Let's say 40 years to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
You couldn't even show it on TV.
Nah, yeah.
You know how insane that is? Like, you couldn't show a same sex. You couldn't even show a husband and wife in the same bed at a certain point. Like, that's so wild to me. And now we got superheroes that are same sex. There's a Green Lantern that is same sex.
Yeah. There's Superman. One of the kryptonites turned him into homosexual.
Really?
Yeah, I think it might be pink kryptonite. I think
That's
it's
That's
in the comics.
interesting.
It's in the comics.
so that's canon. That's cool. Like I'm for it. Whatever.
I don't know which comic it was, but yeah, it was a comic where they touched on the different kryptonites and what they do to him, and that was one of them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I will say though, I only can appreciate it if it's done correctly.
Yeah.
Cause like I look back at like Avengers Endgame when they had the little A for. So back in the comics, there was like the female team of like Avengers, and it was cool, right? Like the comic book version of that was amazing. Endgame, you gave them like 10 seconds of screen time, all the females together, and what did they do? I hated that. I hated that so much because you like really didn't do them justice. Captain Marvel, you didn't do her justice. She-Hulk, you didn't do that series justice. Like, Black Widow was fire. I'm not gonna lie. Black Widow was really good.
Scarlett's my baby, bro.
I'm saying,
Scarlett Johansson, my baby. She's
that
good
bodysuit.
All right, well, this ain't one of them type of shows.
I'm finna get a text from her. She'll be like, "Whose bodysuit?" Be like, "Girl, yours."
No, dude. Ooh, I was at work the other day, and we were talking about the new Barbie movie, and back to some superhero villain. My baby girl Margot, Harley Quinn. She's starring in the new movie, so baby, let me know when the premiere is. I'll be there. You know, it probably doesn't happen. You know, it don't matter. I'll be there anyway. You call me and I'll be there. I'll be there. But yeah, acceptance. Dude, yeah, I love it, dude. This generation has definitely built more of a sense of camaraderie within each other.
Oh yeah.
Because going back to what I said earlier, like those different sects and those different communities and those different section of people back in the day, we were so divided as a nation. Yeah. And I love how we're slowly, very slowly, but surely coming together in more places, and we have these ideas and things that we're trying to push, all for the betterment of us coming together as a nation, as a people, and unifying rather than dividing.
100%.
Because let's just talk about the elephant in the room. One of the biggest things was us being black, a huge prejudice / just problem in America. Yeah. How we were oppressed, and then the minute we got quote unquote released, I don't want to say free, but when we got released, how the only thing that changed was titles basically at the end of the day. Oh, 100%. We were still beaten, spit on, just lynched, like those type of things, like they happen. And it's crazy to see how we're still dealing with some of those problems, and not just us as a race. Hispanics, they have to deal with some of those issues. Asians, they have to deal with some of those issues. Just different communities, the LGBTQ plus, they're still working on pushing things through, and just seeing how much that we're coming together and being more open and being giving these communities and people space to be like, okay, speak your truth. We know what happened. Let's talk about it, and let's see how we can come together and right our wrongs as a nation. And it's beautiful to see. I love it.
I think that we really did tackle so much, and there's still like a bigger conversation to have. At the end of the day, there's a way bigger conversation to be had. Yeah. That being said, though, who's your favorite superhero?
I feel like I'm gonna ruffle some feathers here, but Batman. Before anybody says anything, Batman is more than just a spoiled brat who knows how to fight, bro.
He's an emo spoiled brat.
Okay, bro. He's a amazing strategist. The joke you'll always hear, oh, Batman needs prep time. Who else?
He does need prep time.
What human you know could take down an alien who can legit squish him in his fingers?
The Green Arrow.
In what world? You let me know that.
I played Injustice.
You played Injustice?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You played Injustice. You played a fighting game. I did too.
Yeah.
Johnny Cage beat Quan Chi, but I don't think Johnny Cage beat Quan Chi, but I don't think he could actually defeat a demon who can send him to hell, literally. So let's just be realistic here.
You don't think so?
Who's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero?
Who's your favorite superhero? Don't
Black
say
Panther.
Superman. Huh?
Ew.
Black Panther?
Black Panther. Or Thor.
Got Stormbreaker back there.
Really, if they could make like a Black Panther Thor hybrid, that'd be my guy.
You know, one of the first nerd fact. One of the first Black Panthers was actually worthy of holding Mjolnir.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw because who was it?
I think it was one of the prehistorics. It was the first Black Panther. I forgot his name. But it was Prehistoric Avengers, the first Black Panther. He was worthy of holding Mjolnir because it was him and Odin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. I remember seeing a comic book, and I don't know what comic line it was from or what run it was from, but I remember seeing a comic line where like Thor threw Mjolnir at Black Panther, and it just kept circling him because it would not attack him because of that older Panther. It was crazy. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed your refreshments. I hope you enjoyed your... Ooh, I did that backwards again. I'm messing up. Y'all got to call me out on that. I hope you enjoyed your drinks. I hope you enjoyed your snacks. I hope you enjoyed any refreshments that you wanted. This was Lesson from the Inside. And I'm going to view you the same way you view me. So if you view me with love, I view you with love. Please view this channel with love with that subscribe button.
Do all that. Put in the comment who y'all favorite superhero is.
I'm not gonna love you if you say Batman. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't say Superman, please. Please.
Y'all can say Superman as long as it's not Batman. I messed up. Yeah! Thank you so much for our sponsor. Please reach out to Stain Doctor Detailing. I swear he will get your car right for the low. Y'all. I hope you enjoyed your drinks, your snacks, whatever refreshments you wanted. This has been Lessons from the Inside. Tell me what your favorite superhero is. Again, not Batman.